Hey everyone, it's Nat Alablas here, your digital marketing sleuth. And in today's video, I'm going to show you an example of a very successful Pinterest pin. It's actually one of my own that I created for one of my websites. And I'm going to share with you just a little bit of information about the stats, why I think this pin worked really well, and how you can use some of these ideas when you're creating your next Pinterest pin. Now, I have a travel blog and I have an article on there about where to stay in Paris. It relates to all the different Paris quarters, which they call the arrondissement. And what I wanted to do was write a really informative blog post telling people about each of the neighborhoods, where's a good place to stay if you've got kids, where's a good place to stay if you want to be close to the Eiffel Tower. And it's just basically a rundown of every neighborhood in Paris. And I wanted to create a pin that I could share on Pinterest, as well as targeting Google traffic. I wanted to target some social media traffic, which actually worked in my favor. So what I found with this pin was, well, with this particular blog post, I should say, is that, even though I was getting organic traffic coming from Google, it was very hard to rank on page one for the keywords relating to this blog post. It's quite a competitive niche. So I was, feeling a bit down about that. But then I thought, why don't we try some social media stuff and see whether that makes any difference? And it actually did. This particular blog post did really, really well on social media, on Pinterest to be exact. I've had a lot of traffic coming from Pinterest to this blog post. And here is the pin that I created back in September 2016, Where to Stay in Paris, and Arrondissement Guide 2016-2017. Now, look, when I'm talking about the sorts of images or types of pins that you need to create and the graphics that you need to include, usually they say not to use people in your picture. It's better to use objects, things, make it really nice looking. Certain colors stand out more than others, so blues and reds stand out. I'll just show you some examples of other pins that relate to my topic, just so that you can see the difference between what I created and what else is out there. So I'll just scroll down the screen. And so these are mostly the Paris related pins. So as you can see, most of them use imagery, photos of buildings and icons in Paris, lots of Eiffel Tower pictures, pictures of maps such as this one over here. So as you can see, they're fairly stock standard though. Like, I think they look pretty and they're visually appealing, but they're all very much same. This one's a little bit different. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to see whether standing out would actually drive more traffic. So what I did was, rather than use photos, I actually used this illustration that I created really easily in Canva, just using a couple of templates that were there, and was able to put this together. And I personally think one of the reasons why this pin works so well is the fact that the image, the pin itself, stands out. It's visually standing out amongst a sea of average and just same photos. This one definitely stands out. And also because I've put in text on here to say exactly what the article's about, where to stay in Paris. And this is something that people look for. I've done my Pinterest keyword research and I found out that these are the keywords that people use when they're trying to find out information on Pinterest to do with where to stay in Paris. Now, and I've written the description here, which is the best area to stay in Paris and which areas should you avoid. Read our guide to Paris neighborhoods. And I've had people go in and repin it, and they've added their own description. So somebody here's written, find the perfect area to stay in Paris for your next trip and the areas to avoid. Discover where the tourist attractions are so that you can plan the perfect Paris itinerary. Click here to start planning your next trip to Paris. So it's fantastic using Pinterest because other people are saving and repinning your stuff, and then they're basically telling people, hey, read this is great, you want to plan your next Paris itinerary, click on this blog post. And I've included a link to this article within the pin so that when people click on it, it takes them straight to my website. Now, there's some stats here. This is just from the last 30 days. There's been 11,000 impressions, 169 saves, and 384 clicks from this particular pin to my website, and that's just from the last 30 days. Let's have a look at some more stats. So we've got the dates up here. I can look at, all right, so it only goes as far back as 30 days. We can look at the last, say, 24 hours. Let's just see what it says on there. Okay, so we've got the last 24 hours. We've got 906 impressions. So this pin's been seen about 11,000 times on Pinterest. 537 close-ups. That's when people have had to tap the screen just to be able to look at it closer. 169 saves when someone saved that pin to one of their boards or to a group board, and 384 clicks where people have actually clicked on that in the last, well, it's actually gone back to 30 days. Let's change that again to 24 hours. Okay, so 906 impressions on interest, 42 close-ups, 10 saves, and 31 clicks. So 31 visits to my website just from that pin alone. And that pin is quite old now. It's been a couple of years. So I'm going to go into Canva and update it and put in the new dates, the new year, and maybe just add in a couple of extra things. So that's just showing you the power of a Pinterest pin and the fact that you do want to stand out there. You don't want to look the same as everybody else. You want to stand out there, but you also want to show that you do have value. You do want to get people to come to you, and you do want to do keyword research on Pinterest. Now, I have a separate video showing you how to do keyword research for Pinterest, so check that out. But that's all the information I have for you for now. Just stay tuned in the future. I will be sharing some more videos about Pinterest, but until then, it's bye for now.